Our new thing is called Decision Heads. It's a card game that helps to rethink decision-making processes. Who needs to have which role?
Each decision head represents one role in a decision-making process. We have 6 roles. The owner head belongs to the person who needs a decision and initiates a decision-making process for that reason. The facilitator head, it's for people who design and manage the decision-making process. They lead the preparation of the decision paper. The expert head, it should be given to all persons whose expertise and input needs to be considered for this decision. And number 4 is the implementer head. It's for people who will execute the decision and turn it into practice. Number 5 head is for users. Users will work with the result of the decision, or they will be directly impacted by it. Card number 6 is the decision maker head. People with this head will finally make the decision and will be accountable for it. In total, we have 6 roles that every decision-making process needs. One single person can play different roles, and each role comes along with a set of tasks.
This is how decision-making works today. At least it should work that way. The process starts with the owner of the decision-making process. Owner is a person who has the need for that decision and thus initiates the decision-making process. So if we don't have an owner, we don't have a decision need, and as a consequence, we don't have a decision-making process. Once we know the owner or the owners, these guys have 2 responsibilities. The first responsibility is that owners nominate the holders of the decision maker hat. Decision makers are people who will finally make the decision and will be accountable for the decision. This could be done by the persons who already possess the owner hat and or by other persons. Secondly, the owners nominate the holders of the facilitator hat. These are people who design and manage the decision process and lead the preparation of the decision paper. Again, this could be done by the persons who already possess the owner hat and or by other persons. Once we know these 3 roles and their stakeholders, we can actually start the definition of the requirements regarding the decision paper. This is done by the holders of the decision maker hat, which forward their requirements to the holders of the facilitator hat. Once the facilitators know these requirements, they can go and identify and invite experts, implementers, and users of the decision. Experts are people whose expertise and input is needed to be considered for a decision. Implementers are people who will execute the later decision and turn it into practice. And users are people who will work with the implemented result of the decision or will be directly impacted by it. So the facilitators have the obligation to organize workshops or other related formats for knowledge acquisition and acquire input and expertise from experts, implementers, and users. Once this input is received, the facilitators assemble that decision-making paper, put all this knowledge together, and deliver it according to the requirements to the holders of the decision maker hat. And these guys eventually make the decision either alone or, if there are many, together in a group according to a previously agreed decision-making format. This is how decision-making processes should be conducted today, and everybody could ask himself or herself whether this is currently the case in their organization.
We have discovered 5 powerful use cases for the decision heads playing cards: self-reflection, contract clarification, peer consulting, coordination in a team, analysis of a decision-making process, and we are still discovering more. I would like to introduce the first 5 to you. Self-reflection. Simple and powerful. Just take a moment to reflect which roles you actually have in a decision-making process. Are these the roles you need and want to take? Starting with yourself is a good practice. If you happen to be the owner or the facilitator, you should become active afterwards and also think about the other roles. Contract clarification. If you are asked by someone else to help with a specific project or bigger task, in which role can you create most value for them? Is that what they expect and what's covered by your contract? Do you and the client really have the same understanding of your role? Just have the cards with you and think of addressing the issues. Peer consulting. Of course, you can also help others to clarify their roles in the process. It helps them to reflect and gain clarity. Can they perform all the related tasks? What can they do in these roles to contribute to a good decision? Coordination in a team. Actually, the most fun is to play it in your team as poker. What are the roles of a person in a process or project? What is our role as a team? Put the cards on the table and be prepared to be surprised about different assumptions. Use the surprises as a starter for a conversation to find a shared understanding of your roles. Analysis of a decision-making process. Of course, you can use it to visualize and analyze a specific decision-making process. Look at all the stakeholders and their roles. Which distribution of roles does make sense? You can look in both directions. You can do this at various stages of your process, for planning, as well as in the middle of a process as a little retrospective to make it better.
So if you like the concept of our Decision Hats card game, you could have a closer look on our website. There you can pre-order the cards and you will find dates of upcoming events where we will explain the application of the Decision Hats concept to various business use cases. You can also ask us for a digital copy if you would like to try out the Decision Hats online. So stay tuned and thank you very much for your attention.